The sun rises over Jerusalem, painting the ancient stones gold. The city hums with prayers. Jews at the Western Wall, Muslims in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, Christians walking the Via Dolorosa. Not far away, Gaza wakes. Market stalls opening, fishermen pushing boats into the Mediterranean, and children weaving through broken streets. In Tel Aviv, skyscrapers gleam, cafes spill onto the pavements, and the beach pulses with laughter and music. These cities stand as symbols. Jerusalem, sacred to three faiths, is a city of memory and longing. Gaza, dense and battered, is a place of resilience and struggle. Tel Aviv, modern and lively, looks to the future. Yet all three are bound by a shared land, scarred by conflict and rich in history. Maps of the region reveal a small strip of earth, yet it has shaped world history. The land known as Israel and Palestine has changed hands countless times. Borders have shifted, empires have risen and fallen, and each era has left its mark. To understand today's headlines, we must travel deep into the past. The story begins long before the skyscrapers, checkpoints, and headlines. It starts in the ancient hills, with peoples whose names echo through time. Make sure to follow us on this journey. Into this land came new tribes. The Israelites, led by stories of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, settled among the Canaanites. Some say they arrived as invaders, others believe they emerged from the people already living there. Archaeology shows both conflict and mixing between the groups. Early city-states like Jericho, Megiddo, and Hazor grew powerful. These cities traded with Egypt and Mesopotamia. Their rulers built temples and palaces, leaving behind inscriptions and treasures. Life was hard, but the land was rich, and the hills were filled with sheep, olives, and vines. The Israelites' arrival changed the land's story. They brought new stories, new laws, and a new sense of identity. Over time, their traditions would become the roots of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
Thousands of years ago, the land was called Canaan. The Canaanites built walled cities and farmed the valleys. They worshipped many gods, and their language shaped the region. Bronze Age pottery and ruins still lie beneath today's cities.
This era shaped beliefs and traditions that endure today. The stories of kings, prophets like Isaiah and Jeremiah, and the temple's rituals became the foundation of later faiths.
According to the Bible, the Israelites were ruled first by judges, then by kings. King Saul united the tribes, but it was King David who captured Jerusalem and made it his capital. His son Solomon built the first temple, a grand house for the Ark of the Covenant, and a center of worship for the Jewish people. The Bible tells of prophets warning kings, of wars with neighbors, and of a golden age under David and Solomon. Jerusalem became the spiritual heart of the Israelites. Pilgrims came from across the land to worship at the temple, but unity did not last. After Solomon's death, the kingdom split in two, Israel in the north, Judah in the south. Rival kings ruled, and the two kingdoms sometimes fought each other. The great city of Samaria rose in the north, while Jerusalem remained the jewel of the south.
Roman rule was harsh. In 70 CE, after a massive revolt, the Romans destroyed the Second Temple. Many Jews were killed or enslaved, others fled to distant lands, beginning centuries of exile.
The divided kingdoms grew weak as powerful empires rose around them. The Assyrians swept in from the north, conquering Israel and scattering its people. Only Judah survived, but not for long. The Babylonians, led by King Nebuchadnezzar, captured Jerusalem in 586 BCE, destroyed the First Temple, and exiled thousands of Jews to Babylon. This was a turning point. The Jewish people became a diaspora, a community spread across many lands. Yet in exile, they kept their faith alive, writing down their laws and stories. The longing for Jerusalem became central to Jewish identity. Soon after, the Persians conquered Babylon. Under King Cyrus the Great, the Jews were allowed to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple. This became the Second Temple, a symbol of renewal and hope. But the peace was brief. The Greeks, led by Alexander the Great, swept in next. They brought new ideas, new gods, and new rulers. Some Jews adopted Greek ways, others resisted fiercely, leading to the story of the Maccabees and Hanukkah. Eventually, the Romans arrived, turning Jerusalem into a province of their vast empire.
The land was a patchwork of towns, farms, and holy sites. Despite wars and changes, the land's sacredness only grew. The stories of Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad drew believers from every corner of the world.
Jerusalem became the third holiest city in Islam, after Mecca and Medina. Pilgrims came to see the Golden Dome and pray at the sacred rock. Life was not always peaceful. New dynasties came and went, the Umayyads, Abbasids, and Fatimids. Sometimes rulers taxed or expelled minorities. Other times, they protected them.
They built the Dome of the Rock and the Al-Aqsa Mosque on the site of the destroyed Jewish temples. Under early Muslim rule, Jews, Christians, and Muslims lived side by side. Each group had its own rights and responsibilities.
In the 7th century, a new power arose. The armies of Islam swept across the Middle East, reaching Jerusalem in 638 CE. The city surrendered peacefully. The new rulers were caliphs, leaders of the Muslim world.
Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel.
The Ottomans taxed the people heavily, but life was mostly peaceful. The land was poor but holy. Pilgrims came from across the world, and the old cities grew slowly, shaped by centuries of empire.
For the next 400 years, the region was ruled by the Ottoman Empire based in Istanbul. The Ottomans brought stability and order. They repaired walls, built markets, and welcomed Jews fleeing persecution in Europe. Muslims, Christians, and Jews lived in separate quarters, each with their own leaders.
In 1187, the Muslim leader Saladin recaptured Jerusalem. He allowed Christians and Jews to return, and the city became a center for scholars, traders, and pilgrims. The Crusades left deep scars, but also new traditions and legends.
In the year 1099, Christian crusaders stormed Jerusalem, slaughtering thousands. They built castles and churches, transforming the city into a Christian kingdom for nearly a century. For Jews and Muslims, it was a time of suffering and exile, yet new communities took root. Armenians, Europeans, and others joined the city's mosaic.
In 1947, the United Nations proposed a plan to divide the land into 2 states, one Jewish, one Arab. Jerusalem would be an international city. The Jews accepted the plan, the Arabs rejected it, seeing it as unfair. War was on the horizon. Arab communities grew worried about losing homes and land. Tensions rose. Arab revolts broke out in the 1930s, and Britain struggled to keep order. Both Jews and Arabs attacked British soldiers and each other. The world watched as violence increased, and the British prepared to leave.
The British promised to protect the rights of Jews and Arabs alike, but their rule brought new problems. The Balfour Declaration, also in 1917, promised a national home for the Jewish people. Jewish immigration increased as Jews fled persecution in Europe. New towns, farms, and schools appeared.
In 1917, British troops marched into Jerusalem. The Ottomans were gone, and the world was changing. Britain was given a mandate to rule the land, which was now called Palestine. Today, Jerusalem remains disputed. Gaza is blockaded and often in crisis. The West Bank is divided by settlements and fences. Both peoples dream of peace, but the path remains unclear. Gaza fell under the control of Hamas, a group opposed to Israel. Walls and checkpoints multiplied. Life grew harder for many Palestinians, while Israelis faced attacks and insecurity. Efforts at peace began. The Oslo Accords of the 1990s created the Palestinian Authority and offered hope for 2 states. Yet violence, mistrust, and failed talks dashed hopes. More wars followed, in 1956, 1967, and 1973. In 1967, Israel captured East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and Gaza. Many Palestinians now lived under Israeli occupation. Jewish settlements grew in these areas, deepening the conflict. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled or were expelled from their homes, an event called the Nakba, or catastrophe. Israel survived, but the land was divided. The West Bank was held by Jordan, Gaza by Egypt.
In May 1948, the State of Israel was declared. Arab armies invaded. Fierce battles raged in cities and villages. The story of Israel and Palestine is not just one of conflict, but also of survival, faith, and hope. History cannot be changed, but it can be understood. Only by knowing the past, in all its complexity, can there be hope for a better future in this remarkable land. The world watches, hoping for peace. For every headline there are ordinary people, farmers, teachers, shopkeepers, who wish only to live in harmony.
Today, its people live with the burden of the past. Each group remembers different wrongs and glories. Yet, both Israelis and Palestinians share a deep connection to the land. They long for safety, dignity, and a future for their children. The history of Israel and Palestine is long, tangled, and filled with pain. Every stone in Jerusalem tells a story. Every olive tree in the hills has seen empires rise and fall. The land has given birth to great faiths, inspired poets and prophets, and witnessed terrible suffering.
If you've made it this far, you care about real history, the kind that goes beyond headlines. We need your support to keep bringing these stories to light, so please, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What part of this history surprised you the most? Or what do you think the future holds for this region? We read every comment.